That's real, y'all. That's how it feels. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing it. It's great to hear. Yeah, people think you're too. I mean, theater is, but you have to be, right?
Yes.
People are sitting at a distance.
Absolutely.
They have to see what you do on
Yeah.
TV. You don't need all that.
No.
No, you don't need.
So, yep, that's how I got there.
Did you
But-
find it? Oh, go
Go ahead.
I was gonna say real quick. Did you find it difficult to transition to television?
You know what? It's funny. Once I started auditioning, I really wasn't doing anything like drastically differently, right? Now I wasn't projecting to, go to the back of the theater. I wasn't doing a lot. They have a reader in the room. And so I just spoke directly to the reader and did whatever I did to the reader. But I also remember the first big thing, like a series regular is a big thing, because that you're going to be on the show every week. They're going to pay you per episode or whatever. Now, let me just go back to the private practice, y'all. So I did a 7-day guest spot. And I had done the show at the theater. I was about to call the theater's name. Let me not. I had done the show for 3 months. In that week, I made the same. Months. And, that's when, I was, but just gingerly climbing down my pedestal, just sliding off my high horse. Yeah.
This isn't real acting.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Ooh.
This is a real check.
I was like, that's real money, though. And that was real quick money.
Amazing.
So, yeah, I just went in and did that, but I started with the big series regulars on multicam. And multicam, Frasier is a multicam. The only multicam I can think of that's on right now is like Last Man Standing. It's a live studio audience. So for me, having a theater background, it was kind of a nice little transition,
good
right?
segue.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, you can be a little bit broader on a multicam. So I was able to kind of start tempering, like, okay, multicam is good,
You said private practice was multi-cam?
No,
Oh.
private practice wasn't. That's a single cam hour drama.
Yes.
But that was the first thing I booked. but that as a guest star, but the first series regular was on a multicam.
Which show was that?
It didn't make it, y'all. It didn't make it.
Well, I think you could talk about it, right?
Yeah, I guess I could. It was called, it was Do It Yourself. It's actually, that was the second thing. Do It Yourself was the first series regular. It didn't make it. It was right before Mr. Robot.
Okay.
USA started changing. They wanted to get all serious all of a sudden. Remember when all they showed was American Dad? That's all they used to run all day long. Then all of a sudden they want to start doing Suits and get serious. And so we were just misplaced and mistimed in that sense. But I wanted to say something about I still love theater, and that's why I started a theater collective.
Yeah.
Segue.
Yeah, that's right.
Like that.
Like that.
Okay, let me stay in front of the mic. So even though I've done a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot, but I've had I've been in LA for 6 years, and I have worked consistently, and I'm grateful for that. So I did an ABC show. We did 1 season of that, and then it didn't get picked up. I love the show.
That was a great show.
It was a great show.
Kevin probably saves the world
with Jason Ritter,
ABC.
my favorite person. Jason.
That was a great show.
Hey, happy birthday to my little baby. Hakate, they had a baby. She turned 1 in late December. Anyway, loved working with him, and I started to have that, oh boy, but I do miss theater. Like, I miss creating, like you all. That's why I was really curious about it. Like, what y'all doing in here? Y'all creating some stuff in here. Because a lot of when you're industry deep, you're not a creator in that sense. You are finding the motivation to be creative and bringing your best artistry forth. But just the way the machine goes and the timing, you just don't get a lot of time to do this kind of play and build and do all of those types of things. So I was really feeling fish out of water for a moment. And I was like, you know what? Why don't I create this space where actors can come? And I was like, in my mind, I was like, it'd be perfect right after pilot season. If you're an actor out there, you know when pilot season ends, it drives all of us crazy because some people can't get cast and booked or whatever, and some of us don't. So I was like, it would be a great moment to have actors come and like have an actors gymnasium where you can do whatever
Like some of
you
that.
want to
Right.
do. I mean, because comedians get to do it, right?
Yeah.
Comedians go, they go
Open
to a
mics,
club,
they
they
go
go
to
to
mics.
open
Yep.
mics, they get to try
Yep.
their stuff out,
Yeah.
they get to do all of that. Actors don't.
That's so true.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
So I was like, I want to create something where actors can come, we can try stuff out, and one of my big things is like pulling some old. It's called the Black Rebirth Collective. That should give you an idea of what, like a part of what our interest is. But I was like, pull out some of those old classics that we all looked at, and probably people now go, oh, it's so old. It was written in 1990. You know, pull them out and see if they still have teeth. So that was the first thing we started with, the Colored Museum, which is much older than the 90s. And just actors came in. We did it in a really different way. We do something called the First 15, where people bring the first 15 pages. We co-produce that with First 15. They bring the first 15 pages of a script. Actors read it. They give feedback. We have our first fundraiser January 18th at the Nate Holden Performing Arts Center in Los Angeles. And we're just trying to get out there and like rebuild the kind of love. Like, I'm in this room with y'all at a table, and there's so much energy, like that ball passing, and you guys are, he's just smiling, you grinning. There's just so much joy around, like, because you know, as soon as you go, okay, cut, y'all already have created, y'all got a scene in your mind right now about what I'm talking about, right? It's already done. So that's the kind of thing that I was like, oh, I miss at least feeling like I'm at the table in that way. So
That's great.
that kind of brought up this whole new space of being an artistic director and a founder, which I'm really, really feeling. And cut to. No, I'm just joking. I don't know if there's anything to cut
Do something with that.
I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I have nothing to cut to on that. You were gonna ask me something though. You forgot.
Sure. Sure. So you opened the theater. How long has the theater collective been open? Or
We started
when did it start?
October last year.
Oh, okay.
So this is we've been running for a year now, so we're having our first fundraiser. Because one of the things that, you know, we really want to do is to kind of bring art back. We're going to be focused on the south side of Los Angeles. So we want to bring art back into the public schools. So we're going to try to partner with some schools and do some teaching artist types of things where we bring in a curriculum. And, you know, imagination is a thing that I feel is just not even of interest anymore. Everything is sort of technologically based. If I saw it on YouTube, I'm gonna try to do something that I saw the YouTube person. Oh, somebody put it on the gram, I'm gonna do it like they did it on the gram. Whereas there aren't many outlets for this particular generations, and maybe even a couple of generations before this one, to just kind of go, you know what? I literally just came up with this on my own, rolling in the grass, pretending. Because remember when you used to be outside? I remember jumping off my parents' bed to turn off the light at the same time. And I'd be like, I'm Wonder Woman, I'm flying. And like you would jump, and that little moment where just enough lift made you go, ah, I'm flying. That's just what I want to get back to. And I don't know if artists have that anymore, that kind of like real ability to be like, yeah, I believe I'm flying. You know, I believe it enough to pretend like I'm doing it. It's also difficult now.
Yeah, and keeping it, going back to like improv instead of baseball, that's one of the reasons why I like improv a lot, because it's kind of like adult playtime. It's like, hey, we're going to get in the sandbox and build something together, and let's see what we can do.
It's the best.
Yeah.
It's the best. It's, you know.
So you're saying out in LA, do you still feel like art is kind of missing from...
When I say art is missing, I think there's a strong and a robust arts community. The industry can dictate what your art will be.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the kind of thing that I'm wary of and I worry about. Because if we're, like, art should be consumable, but it should also be art. it just can't be about the consumption, right? It can't just be
be
about
a cash grab.
Yeah, it can't be a commodified so much so that now everything in a particular genre all looks the same. I mean, guys, we're in a moment here because with all of the streaming options, we're inundated with programming. So for like in Atlanta to come out, it had to be dope because it had to catch our attention, right? It had to be the thing that we all stopped and said, oh no, this is different.
It's different.
So for Fleabag to come out and I love that show, it had to be dope because we're watching a lot of stuff that really has the same tenor and tone. So I do think we have to cultivate a new generation of people who think in that artistic kind of way. Like I think Donald and I think Phoebe were artists in mind. And they were like, I'm going to make some money off the art, but I'm going to make art first. And so I wonder if I'm going to make money has become the leader as opposed to I'm making art. Like I'm going to make this money. And it happens to be, it happens to be, I'm going to do it with a new TV show. I'm going to do it with, whatever, music.
We cut to I guess, an abandoned warehouse.